Okay, up in Park City, May 1st for the Scott spring cleanup, starting with their driveway entry. Got the bulbs popping up. We tidied up the grasses more. They were all over the place. This soil is pretty rock hard, so we're going to be diligent with fluffing it throughout the seasons. Even, cleaning up along the edge of the driveway. This is much cleaner now. There's a lot of these old dead stems from wildflowers that just make it look really scraggly, like a wild field, but it's getting much more dialed in. And then I'm gonna run a little to get to the rest of the property. We did a lot along the driveway today, making the wild feel a little more tame, including around this box right here, dialing back those grasses, making them way cleaner. And all along the driveway here, this rock wall, making it more of a feature of the gardens as well, with letting those ground cover do their thing. And on top too, taking back any dead from the winter. And then getting in here, really removing the thistle as well. There was so much thistle last year. It's terrible to get to at the end of the season, so proactively getting in there right now. The rock wall, same deal. There's a lot of grass that pops up, and it's very difficult to remove later on. So we're just going to snip it out and pull it out ahead of time. For the rest of the gardens, typical spring cleanup, removing dead, any broken pieces, any old parts of the grass. You want to leave a little bit in the grass right now. It's not really like ready to grow yet. It's still very cold and freezing this morning, and there's deer out, so they might eat everything. So we left a little insulation around some of the grasses that were not as prominent yet, but they're just little spring bulbs popping up. And I guess these fences are going to be either replaced or totally removed, so we don't have to worry about those, Kelly told us. And we got in here nice and clean. I would say for next time, focusing on making this more visual and either cutting out the ground cover or covering up the ground cover right there, the ground cloth that's sticking up. But really cleaning up a lot of the grasses, removing those broken bits, as mentioned. Fluffing through the soil is still really hard, so we're gonna have to keep fluffing it throughout the season, every time. And then there's still a lot of snow right here, so we're gonna have to get that at a later date. But the middle is looking beautiful. There's lots of wildflowers popping up, or starting to, little sprouty things like the yarrow. The fennel is looking great. Daffodils. And zooming up to the front of the house, all of this has been blown out, although it's a very windy day. We cleaned out the front, cleaned up the planters, removed, the winter lights and things. The peonies, the pansies and the Angelina. Angelina's doing all right. Pansies not as much. So hopefully this comes back for us. And then we removed the lights, but we left the pine cones and the greenery because otherwise they're totally empty. So we can save that for next time. Over here, fluffing the soil, getting in there, and then this lovely corner. It's a very damp corner from the way the end of the roof lines just drop everything off here. It's looking good. I know we did a couple transplants last year, so it's nice to see them looking all right. Dogwoods, the yews, still frozen right over here, but fluffed along the back. New sprouts. And approaching this side. This clematis we're going to keep an eye on and continue to water when it's warm, so it establishes further. Same with this guy right here. The land is starting to lean into the edging. The edging's getting a little confusing. Really raked it out with a heavy metal rake today, and it still looks like it's coming on in. Also right here, it's kind of popping out So we may need some attention with the edging here, the retaining wall. There's a little bit of ground cover or ground cloth we need to tend to. There was some weeding done over here, but otherwise everything's looking great. It's very minimal space. There's just some ground cover growing in, some sedum and a little bit of lamium. There's really not a lot of lamium. And then we fluffed, of course, all the way down through here so it looks fresh. This lower level, really great on the succulent, growing in the rock wall, fluffing up. There was a lot of just erosion, things going all over, so we tidied that up. Super clean and tidy here as well. This was weeded and fluffed out. We're still, a little bit rough on the vinca. It really didn't quite take, but there is some on the other side, and hopefully we can spread that over. The apple trees still survive, and the dogwoods as well in the back. Okay, up here, same deal, weeding, fluffing, raking throughout. Just gonna let those guys grow. They got trimmed back pretty far last year. Fluffing through here, removing grass and weeds through the rock wall pathway, so it's just all even greenery. The morning glory is starting to pop up here, so we're pretty diligent all throughout here and getting any little sticks that remained. The hollyhock is popping up. Weeding through here. This is the area where we want to make sure we keep the flowers on the vine trained to go upwards. So we removed all the dead beds that weren't attached to anything, and what remains looks like it's really going to grow well, and the rest of them are all looking good. I made another quick video about the wall that's just really falling down and crumbling, and it's a concern with the pool being right there. So we've got some attention there. Same deal for this rock wall. It doesn't have anything really planted in those middle layers. Nothing's really holding it together too well. But planters are looking all right. Still very early stages up here, but there's some grass growing, things sprouting. Yep, there's a little view. Looking good on the first layer. Looking nice. Oh, I also want to mention we did rake the wilderness right beneath the rocks, because there were these like large wild looking stalks like there are further on, and they just looked rough closer to the house, so we got those done. Quite a lot tended to today. Another view of these lovely planters and behind them, and of course up by the house, really large Russian sage. All of this yarrow tidied up. There were old stems cleaned up, sort of fluffed through. Love the way this is growing through the steps. Okay, and then we're back to the front. We did realign the posts for this because they were very ski-jawed, but next time I would like to do a nice clean out of the veggie garden. Should definitely be tending to the veggie garden. And now we're back at the front, and I think that covers it all. And that was the spring cleanup here. Thank you very much.